Alright, first day of E3 is officially over. Welcome guys, this is first of my E3 videos. So today's video is on the Microsoft conference. So let's get to it. Let's talk a little bit about the conference and what my opinion was on it. So this year I think Microsoft did a very good job. They really brought their A game this year. Much better than last year. Phil Spencer came out from the get-go. I like him. He's much better than Don Matrick. He seems like a genuine, really likable guy. He seems to actually have a passion for gaming. Right at the beginning, he laid down the view of Microsoft and he said, you know, it's all about the games for them. You know, games are about fun, games are about memories, and the entire conference was dedicated to nothing but games, which was fantastic. So Microsoft kicked off kind of predictably with a big AAA title, and that was the new Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I'm not overly impressed with the Call of Duty franchise, but I will say that the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, it does look different and it does look quite interesting. I'm actually really pleased that they showed some actual gameplay footage. So we actually got to see how the game mechanics are going to work. We got to see a couple of new additions. There's a new thing in there called Exoskeleton. It's kind of like this sort of robotic kind of gear that you get into. Think like the new Tom Cruise Edge of Tomorrow, just like that. And they did say that it's going to provide a change to the kind of fighting, you know, the combat style. There's going to be a lot more verticality in the levels. It's going to give them a boost jump. It's going to give them the ability to run along walls. Copying Titanfall. So yeah, it was a good, you know, AAA title to start off the kind of conference with, to get people excited. But then they got down to the actual business and they went straight into their original IPs, which is great for them to do. And there were a lot of original IPs at this conference that Microsoft showed. Actually 10 in total, 10 original IPs coming to the Xbox One. A lot of them in 2014, surprisingly, and of course some in 2015. So I'm just going to go through a couple of them with you and just go through them, and I'll mention a couple of the ones that I was interested in and a couple of interesting features that I saw. So the first one that they kicked off was Forza Horizon 2. They did say it's going to be out in September, on September the 30th, that it's going to be 1080p. Some nice features that they talked about, some add-ons. They talked about things like you can create your own kind of club of 1,000 members, so that's kind of nice with this idea of a community. They said they're going to have a day and night cycle. There's going to be dynamic weather. They said there's going to be dedicated servers, so there won't be any waiting time in lobbies. So yeah, you know, typical Forza stuff. I mean, I wasn't impressed at the trailer. It didn't look like gameplay footage to me. It looked like CG, and I wasn't overly impressed with that. I would have much preferred to have seen actual gameplay footage of that working, but you know what you're gonna do. The second original IP that they talked about was Fable Legends. I think they're trying to revamp some life into that franchise, but it does look interesting, and one of the elements that I did really like about it was the kind of like cooperative multiplayer element to it. They showed 4 people playing on the screen as different characters. I really liked the party banter between the different characters as they were fighting. I thought that was quite amusing and I really enjoyed it.
Alright boys and girls, this is where it gets serious.
Over here! You like ice with that?
Ah, if only there had been more of them.
Interestingly, in the new Fable Legends as well, one of you can play as the villain, and it kind of changes the view of the screen. It becomes like a top-down sort of strategy-based game. So that changes that gameplay style very nice, and you can set traps for people, and I kind of like that feature. And they did talk about how the multiplayer beta is going to be available for Xbox One players to play in full. Obviously, Project Spark was back. Wasn't too much in terms of new things revealed. The only kind of thing that they revealed was that Conquer is a new playable character or something. I don't know. Not overly that interested in that title. 2 titles I'm very interested in though, which are kind of like indie style games, is the new Ori and the Blink Forest. That game looked so beautiful. The artwork looks stunning, and I love indie games like that. If I had an Xbox One, I would definitely want to get my hands on that. They also showed another kind of indie title which is called Inside, which is from the makers of Limbo, and I love that game, so I'm very excited about it. It looks like it's got more color in the world, but it looks really interesting, and I love those kinds of styles of games. Let's get to the, you know, the kind of the big games that they were talking about. You know, they're big IPs. Obviously they showed more Sunset Overdrive they started off with a CG trailer, and at the beginning of it I was like, oh really, CG again? But actually, thankfully, they then brought that in and they actually had somebody come on stage and play a playable demo, and I have to say it looks very, very interesting, especially the mechanics, the gameplay mechanics, the combat looks very interesting. It kind of, you know, for me it reminded me of things like Tony Hawk. You know, he's skating along boards and jumping from bar to bar, you know, doing tricks and things, but also you're shooting at the same time. It just looked like a lot of fun. It looked very, very fast paced. Just, you know, you can experiment with different things, and it looked like a bit of a blast, really. They did also talk about there's going to be a multiplayer element to it as well, which sounds interesting. 8-player multiplayer cooperative mode. They called it Chaos Squad, and it's kind of a team-based thing, and you have to defend your home base from this kind of horde of mutated people or monsters, because people have been mutated by pop drink, I don't know, but anyway, so that is the new Sunset Overdrive. Looks like a lot of fun. The really good news as well is that game is actually coming out in 2014. It's going to be out October 28th, so that's not too far away, and people have that to look forward to, coming out in 2014. Good job, Microsoft. I like to see original IPs that are coming out in this year, because a lot of games have been pushed back to 2015, you know, especially a lot of big third-party titles, so it's great that you've got something original, some, you know, IP kind of title coming out in 2014. Then of course the big news, they talked a bit more about Halo 5 Guardians. They actually revealed one of the characters in it, you know, the one that was on the artwork that everybody's been like asking questions about. Apparently that character is called Agent Locke. And that person is searching for the Master Chief. They didn't reveal too much about the story, but they did say that Master Chief is kind of questioning what his kind of role is in the universe and everything after the previous games. It sounds like it's going to be a little bit more of a kind of a darker Master Chief, a little bit, not an emo Master Chief, but kind of questioning things. So it sounds interesting. Then of course the big news as well was the Master Chief Collection, which I'm not overly excited about, because I think Halo's been done to death, to be honest. I'd like to see something new and fresh from Microsoft. So I'm not overly impressed with, you know, just milking as much money from this franchise as possible, which is what they're doing. It makes perfect business sense, but from a gamer's perspective, it's just kind of boring. It's kind of playing it safe, really, for Microsoft. But they did release, you know, this whole Master Chief Collection, and that's basically the first, second, third, and fourth game, completely remastered for HD, available on the Xbox One. It said everything is going to be unlocked from the start, from the get-go. It's going to be all accessible. All the multiplayer maps from all of the games are going to be available from the start for people to actually play. And surprisingly, it's actually an excellent price range. It only costs $60 for all that content. So that's great value for money if you look at it like that. So yeah, a lot of people were hyped about that, and they were excited about that. And I think it is good for people that perhaps got into Xbox quite late, or they haven't really played all of the Halo games, or they've only just purchased an Xbox One and they've never played any of the previous kind of installments. So yeah, okay, I mean, it's good for that, but I wasn't overly excited about Halo. They talked a bit more about the Halo TV series. It's called Halo Nightfall or something. They said there's going to be kind of an original character in there. It could be Agent Locke, and they said it's going to tie into Halo 5. They also said owners of the Xbox One are going to be able to watch that for free, so that's kind of cool. And they talked a little bit about that there's going to be a Halo 5 Guardians beta that's going to become available in December for people to get their hands on the multiplayer and try that early before the release of Halo 5 in 2015. So they obviously talked about that. That was a big one. But then of course, you know, there was a couple of new IPs that they actually mentioned. They talked about Phantom Dust, which is kind of a recreation of I think an old Xbox game. I never played it myself, and I don't know what the hype is about, but yeah, they talked about that. There was a new game that they showed called Scalebound, which it was only a CG trailer, but it looked kind of cool. I like the design of the characters and their armor and the way it shifts and everything. And man, the ability to control dragons. Khaleesi! So it looks really good. I was kind of excited by that scale bar, and it looked like a fun game, something you might want to pick up and play. There was also no information on Quantum Break. Where was Quantum Break? I cannot believe that such a huge original IP title like that was not even present at the Microsoft conference. Is that game still in development? Are we actually going to see it? No information. So please, Microsoft, where is Quantum Break? So there were a lot of original IPs at Microsoft's conference. Of course, they had a lot of third-party titles which they went through. So I'm just going to go through them quickly. They showed Evolve. That looks great. They said there's going to be beta and DLC exclusive to Xbox. They obviously showed a gameplay trailer. They talked about the different classes involved in it, the ability to be the monster, and it's from the makers of Left 4 Dead. So that's gonna be awesome. They showed more actual gameplay footage of the new Assassin's Creed Unity. Now before I wasn't overly excited about this. I think Assassin's Creed is coming out too regularly. I think it's dying a little bit as a franchise. It's just saturated the market. But I will say that after seeing this gameplay trailer, I am interested again in Assassin's Creed Unity. And one of the new features that's available in that game, this is why I'm excited about it: 4-player co-op, man. 4-player co-op missions. That looks amazing. You got to actually see that in use. 4 people playing and trying to assassinate. So oh God, it looks so good. So the ability to play the single player story with 4 people, with my friends, just looks so cool. Love the setup, like the whole French Revolution background, 18th century, brilliant. So yeah, great stuff. They showed more gameplay trailer of Dragon Age Inquisition. That's coming out 7th of October 2014. That game looks fantastic, as always. BioWare. The world looks beautiful. Characters look great. Gameplay looks fantastic. Can't wait for that. They showed Dance Central. No interest whatsoever, but they did mention, you know, Disney Fantasia Music Evolve is coming. Woohoo! No, I hate Dance Central, so I have no interest in that. But hey, if you like it, it's coming. Then they showed a CG trailer which just got me so hyped. The new Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, the new Rise of the Tomb Raider. It just looks so good. It looks like Lara Croft is going through kind of a post-traumatic stress syndrome kind of thing, a bit twitchy, but you know, after everything she went through in the previous game. So I like that continuity, and it looks like it's showing, you know, more of her becoming a Tomb Raider and becoming who she's supposed to be. Just looks great. I cannot wait to see more about that game. They showed actual gameplay footage of The Witcher 3. That looked great. We actually got to see a hunt, like a prey, like a hunt for a griffin. And they showed kind of how the open world system works, where you can be doing one thing but then, you know, move into another, stumble across something else, another mission at the same time. They showed some new abilities, like his awareness, where you could see, like, you know, the blood from the griffin that was wounded. They actually showed a little bit of combat, and that looked really nice, really fluid. The changes between, you know, sword play, magic, spells, and so on, that just looked really good. And it just looks gorgeous. It looks so beautiful. This is one of the games I'm most excited about, I have to admit, coming out, and it just looked great. They showed more gameplay footage of The Division. Still, they didn't really reveal much about what it's about, but they did show some gameplay footage, and it, you know, they showed some cooperative kind of multiplayer, you know, playing of the level. It looked interesting, it looked cool, kind of communicating, flanking. Some of the weapons look good. So yeah, The Division, I'm interested in it. It does look good. So yeah, Microsoft conference was good. They brought their A game. They really did a good job this year, and there was no mention of the K word. No Kinect. Hell yeah. There was no talk about any of these stupid apps or gimmicks that the Xbox One can do. It was all about the games, which is what it should have been, and it was a good conference, you know. It was a solid conference. It wasn't amazing. There wasn't anything that made me go, oh my god, wow. But it was solid. It was a solid conference, and it was definitely a step up from last year, and it was definitely a step in the right direction. And I'm sure it would have done a lot to rekindle, you know, gamers, fans in Microsoft and in the Xbox One, so they did a good job. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, you found it interesting or informative, please hit that like button below. What did you think of the Microsoft conference? Did you enjoy it? Which games that they revealed are you most excited about? Please pop that in the comments below. Let me know what you think, and please check out any other videos on my channel. There will be E3 videos coming all week with the latest news from the industry, so please look forward to that. Alright, have a great day guys and girls, and I will catch you later.